So I think I want to make this college series into a series. Oh my god, this is so embarrassing, all the dog hair. So basically, as a writer, it's just so irritating. I use a lint roller and like it's still getting everywhere. Does anybody have any tips on like when you're washing clothes, how do you get rid of the dog hair? Oh my god. Obviously lint things, I can't remember what they're called. But anyways, hi, my name is Jan and welcome back to my channel. I am a writer student and this channel is for travel, this channel is for writing, things like those. This is going to be a part 2 on college advice because I just have more and things like that. This episode is going to be about stop stressing, like literally. Of course, that doesn't really help because obviously that's kind of like when somebody says they're trigger warning depressed, you can't just say, well, stop being depressed, smile more. That really does not work. That is totally harmful. It just does not work. But there are ways you can get around it. So this also goes hand in hand with college. Basically, I don't think a lot of people realize no matter your major, even if you think it's going to be an easy one like film or acting, it's not. Like, I had this person from high school, she also did dual enrollment as I did, and yeah, if you don't know that story, just watch my previous video on this. I'll link it below or link it here. But basically, the story doesn't involve that, but basically the YouTube video, I'm so sorry, but basically she was like, oh, I took acting classes, and girl, let me tell you, I didn't realize it was not easy. And it's correct, because at the time I was in dual enrollment for acting for the camera because that's what they had for my major, and I still want to be an actress, so it still gave me some skills. And basically with the college classes, some people, especially in high school, think when you go into theater, you go into acting, it's going to be an easy A, and that is total BS. Granted, it's easy for you if it's something you want to do and is your hobby and you're not just doing it to get an A, because there's a lot of work with like the acting, the memorizations, the analyzing the script, things like that. So it all takes into that part. And basically, I've come to a realization that your mental health, especially when I moved to university after graduating with my associate's degree, your mental health is really, really important. And everybody stigmatizes therapy, everybody stigmatizes mental health, like, oh, there's something wrong with you, don't hang around me, don't tell me about that. And of course you shouldn't trauma dump because other people have problems and that's not fair to them. But at the same time, like, go speak to a therapist, which is good for you. I think a lot of people should go to therapy. I think, and in fact, everybody should go to therapy. And I had to learn that because it's helped me learn with some things, especially within school, on meeting new people, because I did develop PTSD. I was literally diagnosed with it by a doctor on things that just happened in my life, from bullying, things like that, my body, things like that, all factors. And I used to think PTSD was really for people who like just left the military, were in a war, and that's totally not necessarily always true. There's PTSD can happen from anything. I'm not a doctor, so I'm just a patient. But basically, mental health is really important. happens what happens if you take another track in life, and you know that's really important too, so that's fine. And basically what I'm doing now, trying to get my career. I did do some acting pieces at UCF when I first started, age 19 to 20, and then some things fell out, which will be another episode long way down the road. But basically I'm basically trying out with YouTube, TikTok, and stuff like that. So one step at a time, yeah. And basically, I still want to do acting. I still want to go into the film, but I'm really glad I went into the film industry on more than just being on the scene, also being behind the scenes, learning about that. It's really cool, and I found out a lot of things that I can do, a lot of things that I want to do, like sound design, editing, things like those. So, and basically, your mental health, so basically if you don't, okay, so what does that have to do with mental health? Well, here we go. No matter your major, no matter who you are, no matter what life story, where you're popular, you're in a sorority, you're in a fraternity, blah blah blah, you're not, you're whatever, college and university can be stressful, and that's because you have a bigger workload, and you're also dealing with adult life, because some of us have jobs. Even if you don't, you can still get depression. Whether you don't work or you have to work, you can still get depression. And it's really important to have your school schedule. It's very hard, and I'm still figuring that out myself, but it's very, very, very important that you have your school schedule set up, along with your work schedule, to where they're not interfering with each other, to where you get a day off to relax. Because I don't know if you've known this, but there's an apparent saying that if you don't give your body time to relax, well, honey, it's going to take some time on you. It's going to take up your time, and I'm feeling that now. I'm going to be honest. Basically, I've skipped school sometimes, and that's because I get tired, I'd get stressed out, I'd get off of work, and then I have to like recuperate, and then it was like I have to go to school, and that's not a problem. But I know some of this stuff comes from previous experiences that I've had, and I don't want to go into detail because I don't want to chop it up, and a lot of that is just like super personal that I don't feel comfortable sharing. But I do want to give you advice or a tip in hopes that it will help the next person who will be in the same boat. And basically what I'm meaning is, it's okay to not be okay. In college, you have to learn how to battle different things, because I guess it prepares you for the real world outside of college, when you have a job that pays you like $100,000, $50,000 to $100,000 a year. Things are not gonna always be okay, no matter your major. There's always gonna be some problems, and then you're gonna have outside problems like with life and everything, and that is stressful. So mental health is like really important with this. And I know I have some mechanisms that I do with mental health. For example, I'm trying really hard to try other things, like going for walks. I used to go for walks all the time, but then the pandemic and a lot of stuff happened, so my schedule changed and I kind of fell out of it. But going for walks, that's a really good way. Herbal tea, there's all different kinds of herbal tea. They can still like de-stress you. You can drink it ice, you can drink it hot. I heard it's even better than coffee. And then there's also like with herbal tea, you don't have to put sugar, you don't have to put honey. And in fact, I'm really good on drinking herbal tea without sugar and honey, and that's also a de-stressor in the morning before you go to bed, things like that. And then there's also yoga. I'm a little careful on yoga because I've been learning from TikTok creators who are of the, I'm not sure, I don't think Desi is an insult, but like from Indian culture, yoga is really for people who practice Hindu, especially if there are Indian, and you really shouldn't cultural appropriate, so you should study on yoga before you do it though. And then there's also Pilates. Pilates is a good way. If you don't do yoga, you can also do Pilates. So I'm still trying to figure out different ways. Of course, you can always watch videos and stuff, but you really want a de-stressor also that's going to help you. There's also, that can be expensive, giving your time of vacation, asking your boss, can you have some time off? And especially make sure you get a job with PTO. That stuff is really good. And like basically be like, oh, well, I'm going to go to the beach. There's things like that. And then there's the literal days where sometimes you just feel like you're going to fall into oblivion and what matters in this world. And mental health is important, because then you end up skipping school. And then if you grew up always being afraid to break the rules when you were a child, when you couldn't get away with it, in college you can still get away with it, but it's on your own, and you don't go to school because of that. You still do your work, but you don't go. And I just really just think it's crazy. My fingernails look dirty. It's oil and stuff, but I just think it's really crazy. Like, what happens if you do go to school? Are you going to be afraid? And then what happens if you don't? And then it just leads you to be like crippled with like anxiety, like, do I go or do I don't go? And it's just a mess, and it is. And then there's just a bunch of factors, and I know there's like, you can't let fear overrule you, which is true, but you know, it's harder than you think. I know so many people, and I do it too, compare themselves to celebrities, and I guess there's nothing wrong with that, despite what people say. It's okay to want to be like them. It's okay to want to be like Doja Cat or Jennifer Lawrence or Z Sung or Meg Thee Stallion, but like, you gotta love yourself. And what that has to do with school, it's a social pressure. And what I'm saying is, scrolling through TikTok, I'm seeing so many people talk about they dropped out of school and it happened for them. They got successful, they did it. But I know that doesn't work for everyone, especially when you're in college. And by the time, like, I'm not really wanting to drop out. I'm almost done. And I'm trying to push myself, and I'm still going to do my work. But it's just really stressful that, you know, the thought is there. But my thought is not dropping out. I just want it to be over. I want to be done with college, and I still want to go for my master's, but I still want to pursue my dreams. You know what, next week I'm going to challenge myself. I have to go to class for all of my classes. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm going. And this is just a tip for all you people going to college. I guess it's okay to rush. It's okay, but don't push yourself too hard, or you hit the ground hard, okay? Don't push yourself too hard, because honey, I never saw this coming. So I just got off of work, and I ended up not going to class yesterday, but I definitely did do my work while class was going on, for the stuff that we were supposed to do in class. So I'm still doing my work. I just feel really guilty not going to class, because I grew up on going to class or you will get in trouble. And that is reasonable, because it's good to come to class so you don't miss anything. But, you know, it becomes a problem when you're stressed out, you know. And so basically, I know a part of my stress, especially in the morning time, is because of my diet. And even though I'm eating healthy, it's one thing to eat healthy, but it's also another thing. You can eat pizza, you can eat salad, whatever, and that still doesn't make you lose weight. That still doesn't make you, you know, healthy. Like, you may be eating healthier, but I think, like, I'm not going to go into this, because this video isn't about diet or weight loss or weight gain. But your diet does play a part in your mental health, and that's why it's always good to follow a doctor's orders instead of watching YouTube videos, because I know some of us grew up 2016 watching Freely the Banana Girl and a bunch of other YouTubers, and I'm not going to slander anybody, partially because I don't want a lawsuit, but basically, don't follow somebody on YouTube for diet advice, because, you know, I grew up from that time, I was losing weight before, I was on a journey, and then I started watching all these videos, like, you need to eat this number of calories, you need to eat more, stuff like that, and you really shouldn't follow that stuff. If, you know, you should always consult a doctor beforehand. For someone my stature, yes, I can actually eat lower calories than 1700 to lose weight, because that's me. I'm under 5 feet. I can do that. Somebody else, no, they cannot do that. And basically, and then for people eating more, well, maybe they exercise more, maybe they're taller. It all matters, including their height or things. And the good thing is I'm learning that I don't have to look at the scale every day to lose weight, and it actually makes me, at first it used to freak me out, because it's taken me 2 years to recover from stepping on the scale every day and weighing myself. Yes, do I get curious? Yes. I'm not going to throw my scale away, but I most definitely am not going to let that judge my life, because it also matters on how you're eating. That also matters. So I'm still learning from that, but of course I'm going to see my doctor, and you should too. Go see a dietitian. I'm so glad my doctor recommended a dietitian. They help you with so many things, and it's just really cool. And I plan to go home to my hometown, and I just want to end this video here because I think I just need to. Mental health is super important, and I know I made a couple of videos before on, yeah, I'm not doing a mental health journey anymore because I don't want to trigger anybody, which is totally reasonable. I think I'm keeping people safe for that. And also, there's just personal things that I don't want to share. Does that make me a lunatic? Insulting word, but no. And I feel that the internet can be good in sometimes, but your internet users there's lots of things that can affect your mental health, whether good or bad. And it's just important that you do you take care of you. I'm just going to end it there.